Hi, I'm Megan.
And I'm Andrew.
And welcome to
Cooking Stage Left,
the show where we teach you how to make something delicious. So, what are we making this episode, Andrew?
Well, Megan, why don't you tell me and all of us a story?
I shall. Okay. I shall indeed. So this story is about a terrible date I had a few years ago. Met the guy online dating. If you know, you know. and so we decided to meet at this restaurant he recommended in North Beach in San Francisco. Great Italian restaurant. Never been there before. And within the first 15 minutes of the date, he accused me of being late, even though I was very much on time. He showed up 30 minutes early, so to him it felt like I was late. He told me about all of his medical issues and what he was doing to treat said medical issues. And he made fun of me for ordering the special of the evening, which was a delicious lemon cream risotto with sun-dried tomatoes. Right. So, of course, he kept making fun of me for this choice. And finally, I just said to him, do you even know what risotto is? Turns out he did not. But unlike a normal person and just ask me what risotto is, he just decided to make fun of me for it. So, needless to say, took the rest of that lemon cream risotto home and had it left over, and I promptly lost his number. So, not a great date, really great risotto.
All right, so based on that, luckily I do know what risotto is, and we are going to make today Megan's Bad Date Risotto. So we are making a lemon sun-dried tomato risotto with lots of other good stuff in it. Risotto you can make like a million different ways. It's one of my favorite things. It is a great date food. It is a great sort of like party food and family dinner party food.
Yes.
We'll talk about why that's so fun later.
Yeah.
But we're going to make an incredible risotto coming out of that terrible story.
Yay!
Here we go.
Here we go.
Curtains up, burners on. So let's go through our ingredient list. We have a lot of ingredients here for this, and it's going to be delicious, but I will tell you that when you make risotto, there's really only a couple basic things that you need. So you need arborio rice,
yes,
right? So it's a short grain rice. So that's a definite. You do need some olive oil and butter, or either one, some fat to get started with.
Sure.
I do believe that you always need to start with some sort of onion. So we're using shallot today because it's a nice mild flavor to go nicely with the lemon. Yeah. So either like a sweet onion or shallot. I believe that's definitely necessary.
Okay.
Some sort of alcohol I think is a good start. A lot of recipes start with white wine, but years ago a friend of mine told me to start risotto with vodka. I don't know why, but I just always have. So
great.
Vodka.
Great.
Parmesan cheese.
Yes.
So definitely Parmigiano Reggiano, Parmesan, some version of that.
Yeah.
Many other cheeses if you want to do that. So those are sort of like the basics that you must do any risotto with. So you're going to see what we're going to make, but like anytime, I believe you need those and all of it.
Yeah.
Of course, I believe you need garlic and everything. So we're using some garlic. Instead of mincing our own, we're using a little tube today.
Yep.
And then for this particular, the other thing you need is broth. So we're going to make some broth.
Sure,
so you do need broth for it.
Yeah.
Technically could use water, if you have enough other flavors in there, but broth.
Better. Yeah.
And then we're going to use, again, the lemon and the sun-dried tomatoes.
Nice.
That's sort of like the flavor that we're going with.
Yeah.
And the other things we're going to add a little bit of red pepper, just red bell pepper, some peas, just a little bit of peas there, and some fresh basil to finish it off. So those are sort of going to be our flavor elements there.
Great.
But the basic things, you can make a million different types of risotto with.
Sure. Yeah.
But again, seems like a lot of ingredients. And once you start playing with risotto, you really only need a few basic ones. And honestly, this is stuff that I always have on hand anyway. And so it's kind of like, I literally always have some risotto, some arborio rice in the cabinet. Yeah. And like every now and then I'm like, oh, I've got these vegetables, or I've got some sausage or whatever. Like, it's risotto night. And you just sort of make risotto.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the other thing is too, like, risotto, you'll see when we start to make it, you will make enough for like 50 people, if you're not careful. Like, we're going to make what the recipe calls it's like for 4 people, but it's going to be enough for like 8 people.
Yeah.
And their kids, so once you start, like, the risotto just keeps building and building. It's like those fluffy things on Star Trek. It's like tribbles. Like, once you start making risotto, it just doesn't stop. So we're making an Italian tribble dish.
Great. Yeah. Well, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. it's really good leftover. So like if you make extra, it's not like you just like have it for leftovers.
Yeah. And you know, you've heard me say this before, maybe not on camera, but I have a tough time cooking for less than 8 people.
That's true.
Like it's really hard for me to cook for just 2. Like I usually, so risotto's perfect for that. Risotto's
exactly.
like, hey, it might just be you, or 8 people might show up,
8
or
people
20
might
people.
show up.
And
Yeah.
you'll have enough risotto. You'll have enough.
You'll be prepared.
Yeah.
Prepared for it. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here we go.
Here we go.
Risotto.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we're going to start our risotto now with all of our ingredients. So we're going to start off with maybe like a tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of oil in there, like half and half. So
do you
just
want me
like
to measure it? Or
yeah,
just
you don't have to measure it. Yeah,
okay.
A little less. You know, we can do all
little
butter.
less.
Yeah,
A little less. Okay.
that's like a.
There we go.
There we go. It's like a tablespoon.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay.
And then some olive oil in there.
Okay.
Just a bloop. Excellent.
Great.
Good. And then we're going to start with our shallots. We finally chopped our shallots. 1 shallot, so that's maybe like a hefty 1/4 cup. You need to measure. And like I said, you can also use like an onion for that.
Sure.
So yeah, you just sort of want to like, you know, let that get a little like cooked, a little translucent. We have our pot on like a, you know, medium to high heat right now. We'll probably pull that back once things start going.
Okay.
We also have our broth warmed up, and I put a bay leaf in there to be fancy. So our broth is ready to go. So you're just going to let the shallots cook for like a minute or 2 till they start to get a little like, you know, translucent, they call it. You can bring this, depending on your flavor profile, you can just do it like translucent, or you can do it all the way down. You can start to caramelize them a little bit if you want, if you're doing something where you want a little bit of like a sweeter flavor to it.
Yeah.
But like I said, this is basics, you know, butter and oil, or butter or oil. Some sort of onion. We're using shallot today because it's kind of mild in flavor. Though this one's kind of like, I can smell it. It's kind of got like a nice, you know, a nice kick to it. But usually that part all gets melted away. You don't like, I usually like don't even see the onion by the time you're sort of like cooking the risotto, because it just melts away by the time we put our multiple layers of broth in it.
Yeah.
Which again, those of you who don't know, the way that this works is that we're going to put our rice in there, and then we're going to add our broth a little bit at a time. Different than traditional rice where you'd put all your broth in and then you'd put the rice in and boil it and let it just sort of soak for a bit. With risotto, you put in a little bit of time and let the broth sort of absorb into the risotto, and that's what starts to make that sort of like, you know, creamy, almost sauce-like nature to the risotto.
Nice.
So it's actually kind of a long process. And one of the things that I like about this when you're doing it for like a dinner party is I have like stir the risotto parties. And so like I'll sort of get started, and then I'll just be like, all right, somebody else's turn to stir the risotto, and they will sort of like be with the risotto paddle like stirring, and I'll come by and put broth in every now and then, and it's just sort of like very like it's sharing the labor. And it's also very much a bit of sort of like a very communal thing that everybody takes a chance to stir the risotto for a bit.
I like that.
Yeah, it's
That's a
fun.
fun idea.
I'm gonna pull this up just a little bit there. Yeah, so we're stirring the shallots right now. It looks like our pot is still heating up just a little bit, so it's taking just a moment. But it's already smelling good, which is crazy, but it's smelling good.
Yeah.
I'm actually meanwhile going to zest our lemon.
Okay.
Because we're going to add it in this order. We're going to get the shallots going, then we're going to toast the risotto a little bit, and then we're going to put in our lemon zest and our garlic. Then we're going to put in our shot of vodka and cook that a little bit, and then we're going to start adding our broth. And at the very end, we're going to put in all of our other like veggies and things like that. So that's when we're going to put in our peas and our pepper and our sun-dried tomato and our cheese. Cheese always goes at the very, very end when you're making risotto. Which the first time I made risotto, I didn't really know how to make it, and I didn't really follow a recipe. I just saw it in a movie, and I was like, I'm just going to make risotto. I think I was watching Big Night. And a friend of mine and I watched it, and she was like, what's that? What did they serve? And I said, that's called risotto, and it's an Italian dish. And so I knew it had Parmesan cheese in it. I knew it had like a lot of it. So I just like got a whole bunch of Parmesan cheese, and I grated it up, and I just added it all at the beginning, and it kind of burnt.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so it made this like, it was still kind of delicious, but you know, we ate it. But
yeah.
But yeah, no, you add your cheese at the end. And this is one of those things too, we always like, you can add lots and lots of cheeses to risottos if you want. The creaminess doesn't necessarily come from the cheese. That was my mistake. I thought like the cheese had to melt a lot because I thought that was how the creaminess worked, because I didn't quite get the science of it. But no, the creaminess comes from the starch in the rice. making sort of like a little sort of like creamy sauce to it.
Yeah.
And then the cheese is just like gilding the lily. But you can always add more and more and more cheese, as we like to do.
Oh, yeah.
This lemon is already smelling fantastic. There's going to be multiple layers of flavor there.
Yes. Oh, definitely.
And that's looking a little translucent now. It's getting there.
Yeah,
but
it's getting there.
I think we should let it sort of go a little bit, almost to brown a little bit, because that'll give it a nice sort of flavor.
Yeah.
And again, we put the butter in there, so it will sort of have a little bit of like browning fun to it. It will sort of taste like nice and all.
Excellent.
We'll have that little nuttiness to it.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
Lots of crazy layers of flavor going on in here.
Oh, yeah.
Can you smell that? It already smells good.
It does. The smell...
No, we'll call this out. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the smells really change.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
from the time we put when you were cutting the onions
Yeah.
to right now, it smells very different.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll call it out. Megan's not a big onion fan.
I'm not.
Yeah. I've turned her on to garlic.
Yes.
Right, I've turned her on to garlic,
Yeah.
which I'm not a big onion fan.
Yeah.
But I think when, for those folks that you want to like, for it to be a gateway, I think caramelizing onions and cooking them down in butter
Yeah.
is a good way to like change people who think that they
Definitely.
don't like onions. But, and I'm on the other hand, like there are a few recipes that I can start without onions, My baked goods, I don't put a lot of onions in those, but pretty much everything else. I start with onions. Yeah.
That would be a weird choice
Yeah,
for baked
yeah,
goods.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Caramelized onion brownies. Actually, you know what? That just turned me on a little bit. I don't know. Like the caramelized onion, like putting some brown sugar in your brownies, in your onions, and then like topping it, like maybe a little bit of like.
We're probably going to make that on this show. Just watch.
I'm sorry.
Watch.
I'm sorry. But, whatever. It's our
Are
show.
you though?
It's our show.
Are you though?
Not even a little bit.
Yep, there it is.
Not even a little
There it
bit.
is, yep.
So those are looking fantastic, and they actually
Yeah.
do smell fantastic, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah.
do smell good. I'm going to put the rice in now, and now you sort of
Great.
toast the rice in,
Okay.
again, your butter or your oil or your butter and oil,
Uh-huh.
and you toast it, and you'll see this change too, right? So just watch that, and you'll see it's all like nice and white now, and it'll
Yes.
get sort of like, it'll get a little like translucent.
Okay.
You'll sort of see it go, and then it will sort of also get, it will toast just a little bit, and I like that. You can take it to the point where it just gets translucent and continue on, but I like it to toast just a little bit again. Anytime you toast something like this, it gets a little bit of like a nutty flavor, and I love that, right?
Yeah,
I'm gonna turn
yeah.
down.
Yeah, I
Our
was
pot is
just
getting
gonna
hot. I'm gonna
say.
turn it down just a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it is getting there.
It's getting a little stuck to the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting a little brown at the bottom. Is that the
Yeah.
problem?
That's nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Great.
That's cooking.
That's cooking.
That's cooking. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And that's what it's also something why you want to kind of keep it moving though. But
Yeah, that makes sense.
But like don't worry about it because again, we're going to be putting stuff in there that's going to just like, deglaze the pan as they call it.
Oh.
So like yeah,
Oh,
so
that's a
what
fancy
they
word.
Isn't that fancy?
Yeah.
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 You heard it here. Probably not first. They say it all the time
Okay.
on other
Yeah.
places.
But now
yeah.
we know what it means.
Yeah, yeah. Deglazing. So there's a little bit of stuff on the bottom. Usually it refers to like when you're cooking meat and stuff, but like in this instant, it's just it's the beautiful shallots
Yeah.
and the butter that's gotten a little bit of like a browning goodness on there.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, you can see I've got my vodka ready.
Vodka at the ready.
So this is the point where you would add just a little bit of white wine if you were following a recipe from normal people. But if you just go on this hearsay of my friend who told me to put vodka in it, this is when you put vodka in it.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, you're a very good chef. I think we
Yeah.
can trust you, Andrew.
thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm here, aren't I?
There
Right?
you go. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to put, and this, again, if you're a measuring type person, about a quarter cup.
Okay.
And you don't really need to go more than that. So like, sizzle.
Sizzling.
That's fun.
Ooh, that's fun. Ooh, see, now that really changed the way that it smells.
Doesn't it though?
Oh
Yeah.
my god, the smell profile, the way it keeps changing is really interesting.
Yeah.
On this dish.
It's a loud dish too. I like how you can hear it. Now we're going to do our next levels of flavor here. So about a tablespoon of minced garlic.
Uh-huh. There we go.
About a tablespoon.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
About.
And then the zest of a lemon.
Uh-huh. Great.
There you go.
Ooh. Oh my gosh, that garlic and lemon together is amazing.
Isn't it though?
Yeah.
That's a lovely, lovely flavor. And it's one of those flavors I think is like good any time of year.
Yeah.
It's like a good, like, it tastes like spring, it tastes like fall, it tastes like summer, you know,
Yep.
depending on what other ingredients you use with it, like lemon
Yeah.
and garlic and black pepper, which we will put some in later.
Yes.
I think it's like a really, like, great flavor profile.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Now you see that vodka has like cooked off and absorbed, right?
Yeah.
So you're getting there, and we're gonna let it go, and you'll see it's a little bit glistening. We're gonna let it just get like a little bit drier, and then the way that this whole technique works is that I've got 4 cups of liquid now.
Okay.
Sometimes it takes more than that, honestly. So we're gonna watch it towards the end, and if we need, I'll just add more hot water because we're gonna have plenty of flavor there.
Yeah.
And you add it about a quarter to a half cup at a time.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll add, and you just stir.
Great. Oh, it smells so good.
And you just watch it each time, and you just wait until the liquid has absorbed a bit.
Okay.
You know, we're making a mess here.
That's okay. My friend Andrew says that's just the way that you
It's
cook.
the way it goes,
That's how you know you're cooking right. Make a mess.
Make sure you're scraping the sides there so we don't get dried rice
Oh, yeah, that's
sticking up there.
yeah.
That'll get easier because this whole thing is going to get filled. as we put the liquid in, it's just going to fill the spot. Cook in a bigger pot than you think you're going to need.
Great.
Because it's going to almost fill this.
It's amazing that it's like 1 cup of rice.
Yeah.
And then this is what's coming out of it.
Yeah, and it says it's going to be 4 servings, but again, it's going to be more like 8.
Yeah. It's a pretty filling dish.
Mm-hmm. Also, timing on this will vary. Some folks say it takes like half an hour. Honestly, I've never been able to make risotto in under like 45 minutes, so we shall see.
Yeah.
There it goes. And you can sort of notice, right? It has sort of like, it'll go, it'll sort of be like wet, 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 and then suddenly it sort of seems a little dry. So I'm going to like put you just a little bit more here. And as you serve that, I'm going to prep the rest of our ingredients that are going to go into the end.
Great.
So it's going to be half a bell pepper.
Okay.
Just diced small. Then it's going to be a half a cup of peas, which we're just using frozen peas, so you just need to measure those out. About 2 tablespoons of sun-dried tomatoes, and those are going to be chopped finely.
Great.
And then some chopped fresh basil, which we'll put at the very, very end. We might even just sort of like put that on the very top. And about a half a cup or more of grated Parmesan cheese.
Oh, great.
And that's going to be all the end product there. So I'll just be prepping this for a bit as we stir away.
Great.
How's your stirring arm going there?
It's good.
It's good. Do you want to switch out for a minute?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That'd be great.
So I was just about to grate some Parmesan cheese
can do
there.
that.
Yeah. So
do you
I will
do the smaller one?
I do the smallest one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all going to melt together, so it honestly doesn't matter.
But it's nice because it melts faster.
Yep. I'll say that's probably what the recipe calls for now, is about a half a cup, but I'm not going to stop you.
Great.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just a suggestion.
Yeah, exactly. Recipes are just suggestions. They're more like guidelines.
Especially with cheese.
So I'm sure we've had bunches of like speed ups and cuts and things like that, but I will say that we've probably been stirring for about 25 minutes now. We're about halfway there, just to give you an idea of the length of the time that it takes to make this dish in real time. Not that just watching one of us stir for 25 minutes wouldn't be riveting.
Riveting.
Yeah, but
watching.
but it's really fun when you do it. Actually, it's really, as I said, very enjoyable and very meditative.
Yeah.
All this work that went into that risotto before your date. Can you imagine somebody was back there stirring for like an hour?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like what was happening on the date. It was
Yeah.
me. It's me sitting across the table.
Yeah.
staring at him in complete disbelief. Maybe I should have offered to go back into the kitchen and help them stir the risotto, you know? Maybe that would have been a...
Maybe that's why he got there so early. Maybe he was in the back stirring the risotto.
Maybe he was in the back stirring the risotto. Yeah.
Maybe he was like preparing, and then he was like, "You're late.
Yeah.
You're getting the risotto."
He was cooking.
I don't know what it is, but you're gonna order it.
Because I was back there stirring it.
Yeah.
Because you were so late, Megan. Oh man. When you said the shallots would melt away, you were not wrong, because they really have like melted into the dish. Like I can't.
It's me not being wrong again.
Do I say that you're wrong? I don't think I say that often.
I'm saying it happens a lot. No, just like
You just want to call it out when it
yeah.
happens. Look at me. Oh, there it is. There it is.
It's all so much right
I
now.
I would keep applauding, but I have to stir the risotto.
Yeah,
so.
it's your turn. No, it really does, and that's again, it's sort of sometimes they're just kitchen magic that happens, and that's one of those things. Like when you start with onions, because we've called this out a lot. Like Megan's not a big fan of onions. My partner's not a big fan of onions, and so when I make stuff like this, I don't even tell him there are onions in it. Sometimes, I mean, he knows because he knows that I always cook with onions.
Yeah,
but they're in the house and they just disappear and we eat, and so he figures it out. He's a clever guy.
That's correct.
And but no, it really does melt. But I just think the flavor that it adds is so fantastic and so necessary for so many things. And this is one of them. It's just like this sweetness and nuttiness that comes out of like the onion flavor that is unique from the garlic flavor, you know. And so it's totally necessary. It's really looking beautiful.
Yeah.
And we'll get like, you know, you can probably do a little heftier. I'd say we probably do like 2 more. So we'll do 1 more now, and then like with the final one, we'll add some of our other ingredients in there.
Okay.
So we've put in our last addition of the 4 cups. Again, we might need a little bit more broth. Now we're going to put in some of our other ingredients. So I've got our red peppers here. We're going to put those in because you want those to cook just a little bit.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Unless you like them really crunchy and raw, which is fine. Again, you can do whatever you want. Our 1/2 cup of peas, which were frozen too, so those can spend some time being warm. And also this will add sort of some moisture as well. Moisture will come out of those vegetables and cook into it as well. So that will add to the creaminess. So it's always good to sort of like add these things in before you add more water.
Yeah.
Now it's going to start to look really festive.
Oh, yeah.
I'm also going to take this time now. I'm going to add in some black pepper.
Great.
Which again, you can add, I think a touch of spice is always nice to bring out those flavors. You can do a little bit of cayenne in here. You can do a little bit of white pepper. It would all just sort of like bring it to a different profile. But again, I think the lemon, garlic, black pepper is a really classic flavor that tastes delicious.
Yes. Yeah, I love lemon and pepper together.
Yeah,
I think that's
nice.
a great flavor.
Now we're going to add our sun-dried tomatoes, and it's about, again, 2 tablespoons. Might be a little heavy there.
Yeah.
They were in some nice olive oil too, so that's going to add some additional lovely flavor to it.
Oh, yeah. And moisture.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna try it here?
I'm going to do a little taste just to see if we're soft yet. I've got a little bit of bite to it.
Okay.
A little crunchiness to it.
Okay.
Very good.
So we might need some more liquid.
I'm going to get a little bit more liquid.
Okay.
I think that looks like we're sort of at capacity now, right? Because it's sort of like, it almost doesn't want to take any more broth, right? It's got this nice sort of like, you know, it's got this nice creaminess to it.
Yeah.
But it's really not absorbing any much more to it. So what I would do at this point is I think I would just turn it all the way off. I'm going to turn it off.
Okay.
And going to put the lid on top of it.
Okay.
and just let it sit for like 5 minutes.
Okay.
That's sort of my trick, let it sit for just like 5 minutes. Let it sort of like take that last little bit that's going to get in there.
Yeah.
And then we'll put in our last 3 ingredients, which is going to be just a little squeeze of lemon juice. We're going to put in our grated Parmesan, and we're going to put in our basil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So we'll be back in a minute.
Perfect.
Okay, so we just did sort of like a final sit here. And again, it gets to a point where it just won't take any more liquid. So go ahead and give that a stir, and we will put in our final couple of ingredients, which is going to be just like a little bit of a squeeze of fresh lemon juice, just a little bit, because again, that's a lemon flavor that we're working with.
Yep.
Now we're going to stir in Parmigiano.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Parmigiano Reggiano.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, about a half cup,
Sure.
small carloads worth, whatever you feel you need to put in.
Right, somewhere in between those two things.
Whatever that is. And then some fresh basil. Tear it up in there.
Cool.
And the beauty of risotto, you can add so many different things. You can make it yourself, look up different recipes. Basically, any type of pasta that you would make, you could make it into a risotto type dish, anything that you would sort of like add in there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that fresh basil just like
Threw
it over the top, right?
Yeah.
Just about that.
Yeah, did you get a waft of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Time to serve out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I can really smell it's so interesting how many scents you can get from this. Like it keeps changing and morphing. Okay. Here we go.
Again, such a delicious, beautiful, beautiful meal.
Yep.
I love too how like rice becomes like a main dish here too.
Yeah,
it's not,
absolutely.
It's definitely not side dish material.
No. This is definitely the
Oops,
star.
look, I threw some more.
Oh no.
Oops, some cheese landed on there. All right, so here we go.
Here we go.
Bad date risotto.
Bad date risotto.
Lemon sun-dried tomato risotto. There we go. Cheers.
Okay, here we go.
Oof.
Oh my
I'm
God.
getting so many flavors coming out.
Oh my God. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love how the lemon hits on like the back end, right? Lemon comes off the back end, and the sun-dried tomatoes are almost like meaty. I can't even describe it. Like it's just so like it's so rich and thick in flavors.
Yep.
You get a little pop of like pea or the red pepper every now and then. It tastes also like a fresh. I'm not mad at the cheese.
No.
Put in just enough black pepper to give it just a kick of spice.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought you were maybe adding too much black pepper, but not at all. It's really like you could even bump it up more if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Like
I did sort of like the base level.
Uh-huh.
I could see some red pepper flakes in this even.
Yeah.
Pop it up. Yeah.
To add a little bit of spice. Yeah. Yeah.
I think risotto is one of those ultimate comfort foods too. It's just so like,
It really is.
creamy and delicious.
It's perfect for this time of year, honestly, when it's cold outside. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
All right, so something good came out of that bad date.
That's true. Yeah. I think
Terrific recipe and technique for risotto here.
Yeah. I think we've definitely, gotten rid of all the bad vibes from that date. And now it's just delicious risotto.
Right. There you have Megan's Bad Date Risotto, also known as Lemon Sun-Dried Tomato Risotto.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm Andrew.
I'm Megan.
And this has been
Cooking Stage Left.
It's
so good.
So creamy.
I know. Did I ever tell you how that date ended?
No.
So it didn't get much better, and a lot of other stuff happened that was
Shocking.
I know, right? Yeah. Shocking, I know. So then we were both gonna go to public transit in the same direction, and it was just the date just had been so bad, and I was like, I don't want to walk to public transit. Like, I don't want to. I'm done. Like, I'm really over it, right? But I wanted to get out of it in like a really nice way, and I didn't. I was racking my brain trying to figure out what to do, so I took my phone with me to the bathroom, and I called my dad. And I said, Dad, I'm on this terrible date. I need to like separate from this guy as soon as we leave the restaurant. What do I say? And he gave me some really good advice for what to say, which is just like, hey, you know, I think you're a really great guy, but like, I think we can both agree this is not going to work out, but, you know, wish you the best of luck, you know, in your dating journey. And that's what I did. And he went his merry way, and I, you know, waited a little bit, and then I went my merry way, and it was fine.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You didn't have that awkward like time sitting on the bus together.
Yeah, no.
Okay, good.
No. I was like, I can't do any more of this. Yeah. You know, how do I get out of it? So, my dad to the rescue.
Yeah. I bet you have the skills now though, where you would just be like, check it out, this is over.
Yep.
This is done. I'm just gonna take my risotto and go, but this is not happening anymore.
Right. Yeah. I think I would have been a little bit more blunt today, right? Like, you know, I would have been like, you know what, this is just now.
Yeah.
You and me. Mm-mm.
Yeah. I'm just gonna leave now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Your turn.
That was Andrew's way of telling me it was my turn to stir.